You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
So, welcome. I'm sorry. Speaking of seamless, welcome to Moviesucktastic.
Yeah, baby.
Our episode review of the Oscar Best Picture nominee, Lion. 2016. I am Scott, and the one who is making sure everything runs seamlessly is Joey.
Hello.
And that's the introductions.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do this film first and get it out of the way.
Yeah, thank you.
I just needed to do that. It's hard enough watching this fucking thing.
Yeah. Now, so again, Lion. Do you want to just do the title first?
Yeah.
All right. How do you feel about the title?
It's okay. And I'm not blown away by it, but I get why it was called that. The kid's name, he pronounces it Saroo, because he's only 5. He's pronouncing it wrong. It's really pronounced Saroo or however it is, which means lion.
Right.
In, I'm assuming, Hindi or Bengali or whatever the 1,000 dialects that they have out there. So, but it's also a double meaning because a lion is strong and powerful, and he endures this journey, this 25-year journey to try and find his mother, his brother, and his sister, because he's essentially not taken, but he goes with his brother and gets lost and ends up spending the night in this area with other kids that are homeless, and ends up on a train for a couple of days, and then he's just out in the middle of fucking nowhere, doesn't speak the language in the Calcutta area, which is Bengali. He doesn't speak it, and he gets the name of his town is wrong. So he endures all of this through 2.5 decades. So I get why it's called Lion.
Now, I like the title more because this is an adapted screenplay from the book A Long Way Home.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Which is a horrible title.
Yeah.
And considering that since him being lost was a major part of the film, the fact that it wasn't called Lost is probably only due to the fact that the TV show existed.
Yeah, because it's a fucking shoo-in.
Although, for some reason, I would have liked Lost Lion a little more, even though it's a cheesier title.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. I mean, it appeals to me more, even though I know it's even worse. But, with all that in mind, Lion's not a bad title. I'm okay with that.
No, and I don't think it is a bad title. It's just not one of those blow me away kind of titles.
Oh, no.
Like...
But it does have a deeper meaning, and it doesn't just describe the film.
Right,
so,
right.
Like a rival.
And I get that. They... Not that they went to great lengths to try and find a different title. As a matter of fact, on IMDb, I wonder if it does have any also known as maybe like working titles.
Well, they usually only include also known as if it's been released under that title.
Right.
They don't usually list like rejected titles. And I don't recall seeing anything else like that from what I read.
Un camino e casa. La strada verso casa. So...
What does that mean?
Well, I know casa is house. That's Mexican. So, all right. So what the? See, now I got to know what that title is. You know.
Oh, get it's probably A Long Way from Home. Casa meaning house.
Oh yeah, okay. Because at the top it does say A Long Way Home.
I think all the ones you're looking at, if they have something after the first name, the following is A Long Way Home. Especially since half of them have casa, and casa.
Oh,
is
you know
house
what? In Germany, it's called Lion. Der Lang Weg nach Haus. So it looks like in America it was just called Lion, but in other parts of the world, it is called Lion A Long Way Home.
Because probably in other countries they wanted to make sure that it wasn't confused for a Lion King remake, which is apparently coming out. So.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, I read somewhere they're doing that, like it's a thing. It's not just rumor.
In Israel, it's actually called Saroo, and then a bunch of letters.
Which means lion. So the title's still the same.
Yes. Well, Saroo is
it's
Indian
Israel.
for lion.
Israel missed the whole point, and they just said Saroo instead of his real name.
Yes.
Come on, Israel's got to be the one that fucks up the whole meaning of the. Damn it!
Yeah, they just called it Saroo. All right.
That's funny. It's like it should be anti-Semitic to point that out, but it's not.
Un camino a casa means a way home. So,
well, loosely, yeah. Well,
in Mexico and Chile, it's called a way home.
And that's what it pretty much is. Once he gets old enough where he can actually rationally think about doing it, he decides he's going to find his mother, his family that he remembers only from as a small boy. And so, using Google, the movie should actually be called Lion. Have you used Google Maps or Google Earth? And the whole thing is him using Google Earth to track based on the train ride and the length of it and landmarks that he can see from above, figuring out where his home, where he originated when he got on the train. Find out what his hometown is.
Right, exactly. Which painstakingly out. I mean, like it took him like 2 or 3 years to do it,
and that's pretty much the whole film.
And I don't know how accurate it is as how they depicted it in the movie. But he kind of finds it by accident. He kind of goes outside of the radius that he chose because at one point in the film, he's going to management or hotel management school, and there's a group of all of these students, and there's a few of them that are Indian, and they all get invited over for dinner, and he ends up in the kitchen. And he sees this almost like a falafel type delicacy that's on the counter.
Yeah, I forget what that was called. Yeah,
it's like jalebi or jalebi or something.
Jalebi, I think it was like jalebi. Yeah,
it began with a J, and it's like just something or other.
Jalebi, something like that.
Yeah, so he sees it, and he immediately, because he never ever tasted it, because when he was with his brother in the market,
he knew the smell too.
He knew the smell, and he knew the sight, and it just brought him right back. So he has this kind of this emotional, not breakdown, but just kind of like...
It opens up the floodgates of memory. Like, smells will trigger buried memories. So he began to remember more about his childhood through that.
Right. So, long story short, he ends up talking...
It's a long movie. I'm not making fun of you.
Why you gotta do that?
It's the movie, not you. It's the film.
So he ends up talking about it to, everyone that he's with in the house. And one of them says about the whole Google...
Did you invite that Saroo guy? He's going to talk about his fucking family again. Every goddamn party. And he smells a candy. He's like, oh, I was left alone. I am lost. And that's great, Saroo. Can we play Twister now? I mean, come on.
I bet he couldn't watch the TV show Lost. I bet it was like he just couldn't do it.
Well, this is before that, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
No, 2008. Is when he really started this journey to try and find, like with the Google Earth, and Lost. That ran from like 2004 to 2009. They should have tied this
in to Lost. Like when he flies over, they should have had like Locke sitting next to him.
Yeah, right.
You ever play backgammon? Just throw a little throwaway.
So they bring up, have you tried using Google Earth? And what they basically, the gist of it is they say, you can use Google Earth, and what you can do is you can get all these train speeds by year of, how fast the train travel. And if you were on it for 2 days, basically what you do is you do some multiplication by train speed by kilometer, and then you can have a radius of the whole general area. And he did that. But what he ended up finding out was he had to go outside of that radius a little bit. And then by doing that, he saw a landmark, which he was able to backtrack to like the exact location. So all of these years, I think it was 2 or 3 years, he was searching within this radius like crazy. And he was really close.
So if you haven't seen this film yet and you're listening to this description for the first time, yes, this film is as exciting as Google Earth and distance versus velocity math problems. Yeah, riveting it is. Yeah, Joey,
so I take it you didn't like this film?
Were you as bored with this film as I was?
I fell asleep the first time I watched it, and I woke up during certain parts. I will say this: the certain parts I woke up to were interesting. I don't know. I had this uncanny knack for waking up to. It's like, oh, that's an interesting part. So I ended up rewatching it, and I'm like, all right, this is okay. It's not a bad movie by any means.
It's just because it's boring. Because you can sum the whole film up as 3 known facts that everyone already agrees on. Being an adopted child is difficult. The idea of reuniting with your original family is awkward and can cause inter-family problems. And India sucks. If you already know these 3 things, all this film is just kind of validation of your personal belief system.
Yeah,
it's like a Hallmark moment card. Now you are correct; it's not a bad film. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's not tugging on any heartstrings that I haven't had tugged a dozen times before.
Yeah,
and
I did get emotional during some parts of the film. Well, and I will say this: it's hard not to get emotional when you have children. You know, I have a couple of children, and if one of my children
pull that card again,
fuck you.
Oh, but Scott, if you had kids like me, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. It's just if I could even imagine one of my children having to go through even anything like this, even remotely like this, it's heartbreaking. So
there's still puberty, so
well,
they've still got a tough haul no matter what.
Yeah. But no, it just, if one of my children ever got lost, just the fear and the anxiety and the chaos of it all, it, on top of being emotional about the story, to try and put it in some sort of perspective that you try and put yourself in it, it's even more difficult.
Well, what was the number they gave? Like 800,000 kids disappear?
80,000.
80,000?
80,000 go missing or get lost in some way.
Those are the ones they report.
Well, again, there's a billion people in India. So, the number, it's a large number. But with 1 billion people...
Hold on.
It's... What, you don't think there's 1 billion people?
Yeah, you tell me how many people are in India. You do that. You Google that.
I thought there was 1 billion. But anyway, I mean, like, the number 80,000...
Look it up.
I am looking it up.
Okay.
It's a large number, but out of 1 billion, it's not horrible. All right, India population, 1.2 billion.
All right, so here's what I want to... Because when I watched this film, I was like, wow, that's horrible. And I was like, hey, let me compare that to America. I'm curious how many... Because, again, I don't think I'm trying to, dump America. My immediate thought was purely racist. I was like, India, they got to be, throwing them away hot, use diapers.
I mean, America only has 1/5 of the population, so...
Well, but you're saying 1 billion. You're 1.2 billion.
Yeah, in India.
All right.
There's 300 million in the U.S.
Right, so they're losing 38,000 kids a year, 30,000 kids a year, which is a drop in the bucket. I looked up America, whose population is 417. No, it's not.
316.
316. They're estimating 417 in 2060. I don't know how I got in that fucking stat. Thank you, Google. but we're like 300. But we're like 300 million right now.
Yeah.
And we lose 300,000 kids a year.
Wow, that sucks.
And that was according to an official statistic from like one of those organizations that actually do shit about that, not just somebody's meme. I mean, it was like an official. It was like a .org. That's how official it was.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, wow. I went to reaffirm my racist thought that, well, yeah, they're just like throwing kids away over in India. And I'm like, holy shit, the ratio is so much larger here. Holy shit, 300,000. That's like, but then again, we don't have these huge homeless child populations like in Calcutta, where they have these kids are like when they film shows, and this is realistic, they're just like a large population of homeless orphan children just living on the streets by themselves.
Right.
Now, give America credit. We may lose a lot more kids, but they mostly go towards child molesters, kiddie porn, and Satanists. So I mean, they're used. We don't waste any part of the kid. But in India, they're just throwing them away. So let's to be fair there. But I got sidetracked on that. Really.
That's okay. That's quite all right. That's okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. And I didn't realize the numbers was that staggering for here in the U.S. 300,000 a year.
I'll look it up again because I'm pretty sure that's what missing children in America. Like,
that seems like an awfully high number.
Huh?
It seems like an awfully high number.
That's what I thought. Here it is. Oh, no, it's even higher than that. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, roughly 800,000 children are reported missing each year in the United States. Roughly 2,000 per day. Now if we're losing 2,000 kids a day, and our population is like a fraction of India's, and they're missing a fraction of ours, we must be shipping them out because we don't have like gangs of homeless children roaming streets and stuff. It's not like the monkey issue problems they have in India. So if we're consuming 2,000 kids a day, we're locking them in basements, and that's permanent.
Now,
that's a lot of kids.
Now, are these numbers also including, let's say a kid doesn't come home from school, right? The kid's reported missing, but then the kid turns up. Is that part of the statistic?
Sure, but even then, 800,000 as opposed to 80,000?
Wow, you got a lot of helicopter moms out there, so...
I guess. Well, yeah, no, I guess the question is how many of them that go missing, like you're saying, are actually found.
Right.
Like, 2 days later, there he is. Whereas in India, it's like, he hopped on a train. Might as well start again.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a staggering number.
It is. It's staggering.
2,000 a day? I mean, that's insane.
Nobody abducts children better than we do.
Oh, God.
Because for us, it's not a financial thing. It's just a part of our culture.
Yeah. Let's talk about the poster. Was that
one of the movie poster? That's right. That's the thing. One of our things now. We have to talk about the movie poster each time.
I hate it.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's a horrible poster.
Oh, all it is like, yeah. By the way,
it's him on the top. I don't know. Is he like mid mount on her? I mean, like, is he like in?
No. I think she actually stopped him short on that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's naked, but she's just like,
yeah,
I can't do it because you're emotionally crazy, and I just can't do this anymore. But it's a shot of him on like looking down and her looking up at him, and in the middle is him on the train tracks with his brother.
When they're both children, right?
When they're both children. Now, I don't understand why she's on the cover of the poster. I mean, it's what's her face? It's Rooney Mara, who's
right.
I mean, like, you put her in your film, you're a shoo-in for some sort of nomination. She's a very acclaimed actress, so I'm guessing that's why she's on the poster. No, she didn't. She's not that she's not in it enough. I just don't think she's good enough to be nominated. She's good in the film, but not enough to get a nomination.
I also don't feel is good enough to be nominated for supporting actress. The one that was nominated for supporting actress.
Oh, yeah.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that about?
Yeah, I feel the same way. And
she's in the film less than her.
When we talk about Moonlight, we're going to talk about the supporting actor in there and how that's just a bunch of bullshit. The actor
but anyway,
in a leading role.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a horrible poster, and the thing is, like, they're trying to say, like, it's like this whole thing. Yeah, you know, I honestly don't know how important she is to the story, besides the fact that she was actually there.
Yeah.
Except that it's one other relationship that he fucks up trying to chase down the ghost of a parent he never really knew.
It's just the void that
yeah.
He's trying to fill, which I get. I mean, yeah. I'm not questioning him whatsoever. I mean, there are people who are adopted, here in America, and they want to find their origin, their genetic, parents.
Yeah.
They and that's fine. That's up to them. They just, in some ways, they want to know why they were let go. In some ways, they're angry about it. Some ways they
doesn't make it interesting for 2 hours.
Yeah, true. And I'm thankful this was only a 2-hour film.
Is it bad that I laughed? Because now we see him in the orphanage, and they show the scene where the one kid keeps banging his head against the wall, and they drag him out. And am I?
You laughed
correct?
At that?
What?
You laughed at that?
Let me finish what I'm saying.
All right.
Holy shit! Am I correct in saying that ends up being his brother? That's the same kid?
I don't think that's the same kid.
Because he does the same thing at the dinner table. He starts hitting himself in the head. That's why they show him do that in that class.
I don't believe that's the same kid.
So, but he ends up doing the same thing, hitting himself when he gets upset.
I get that he's doing the same thing, but I don't believe.
Yeah, but what are the odds of that? Well, how many people do that? It's not that common of a thing. Because when I saw him, I immediately said,
one of my kids used to do it.
We're talking about going into an adult into that extreme.
Well,
you're confusing pouting with like strong emotional issues. All I'm saying is, like, when they showed that kid banging his head, and then later they have his new brother come off the plane, and he meets him for the first time, and immediately I was like, holy shit, my brother's the kid that bangs his head against the wall. I'm pretty sure that was the same person.
I'm pretty sure it's not, but I think the reason why it's in the film is because his brother ends up with that type of disability, and of the anxiety, the self-harm, things like that.
But if they did, it's a stupid thing to do, because all it does is make you link the two characters.
Well, it could very well have been written.
It's not a commonality. It's not like a Twitch. A Twitch you could almost pull, but even then, it's such a. I don't buy it. I think it's the same thing. I would check the IMDb message board to see if anybody else thought that, but they closed them down because they can't moderate their own fucking website.
Yeah, well, why? It's easier to just let it go.
Sure. Corporate, so we can't take this chance. And if someone says kill a nigger in here, we're going to get blamed for it.
Let's see.
Which was a weird review of Driving Miss Daisy. I don't know why that even came up.
Yeah, right.
I don't get it. But I made that connection immediately, and if there's no connection there, it was stupid to keep it in the film, because they did change things for the sake of the film. For example, the girlfriend in the film is actually a composite of multiple girlfriends he had over the years, because apparently he was that difficult to deal with. So it's not just one girlfriend; it's like 3 or 4.
Oh wow!
And they just composited them into a fake character, so it's not an actual person, but it's just like a composite of multiples.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, again, it was adapted from a book, so they're changing things in it. And again, that's why I hate the fact that at the end they showed the real footage of like his mother meeting his mother, and showing pictures of him like from real life. Dude, then if you were going to do that, then maybe stick to the actual story. Don't change shit to make it entertainment. Don't just because they pull that shit out of the end, and it's almost like they fool you. See, you've been watching a documentary. No, you haven't. You've been watching a stylized, dramatized version of real life.
This is like the third film that I think, out of the Best Pictures. I think I'd have to look. That has done that at the end.
It was Hacksaw Ridge does it with interviews.
Yep.
And then you had Hidden Figures, which does it with just the photographs.
Right, and then this film.
I don't think they had interviews at the end of that. And I think this is the only. Yeah, but this is the third one.
This is the third film, which is crazy that the trend is that it's like 40% of the Oscar films.
Yeah, and you know what? I bitched about it after the first one we did.
Yeah.
So it's not even like I'm like, oh, well, I complained before we even realized it was a trend this year. I hate it. It's such a ham-fisted, easy kind of, and this is how serious this film is. Just do the fucking movie. The fact they even do it in films like The Conjuring pisses me off.
Oh, God, did they really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I get it. It's based off the real couple of the Amityville thing. Yeah, we got that. How about just point me to a website, please? I hate that shit. It was a novelty when they like actually started doing films that close, but these like adaptations from memoirs and shit are so fucking common now. We know they're real people. Just say at the beginning, baby. All you have to do in the past is say based on a true story.
That's it.
Suddenly, that's too complicated now.
Now moving forward, I think we're going to see a lot more films doing it because I think they can. Not that they feel that they have to, but they feel that it'll put some validity of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It lends the validity, but like I said, it's a false validity because it's like at the end of Schindler's List. Did they show us? I had never seen it all the way through, so I honestly don't know.
Well, at the end,
they pictures of actual.
No, they have real footage of people putting rocks on gravestones. It's a real shot. They did that at the end of Schindler's List. I think that was some of the survivors.
So actual survivors.
Actual survivors and relatives of survivors.
That's even worse because it's even just now just put some rocks on a tombstone. That's not exploitation. What the fuck? Just make the movie.
And I don't know for a fact if Schindler's List was the first film to do something like that, where it took you out. Oh no,
I brought it up. You didn't bring up Schindler's List. I just was bringing up an example. No. Bad example because I've never seen the film all the way through.
I'm just saying I don't know if Schindler's List was the first film to do it, where you had the movie and then it just took you out of that world just for a split second. Doubt it. And did that.
I doubt it's the first film to do it, but it's becoming more, like you said, it's becoming more and more of a pattern. And I don't like it. I think it's cheap and easy.
I'm not crazy about it either.
Just like showing up a portion of the middle of the film or part of the climax at the beginning and then just going back to the beginning of the film. Mm-hmm. Hate that shit. It's easy. It's too easy.
Did you find that, and it's just, and I'm probably nitpicking, but the mother, she's going, there's the scene in the film where you have the mother, the brother, the older brother, the younger brother, Saroo, and then the daughter, Shaquilla. So the mother is going to work. She's a laborer. So she asks the older brother to watch the two younger kids. Right. And he decides that he's going to go try and do some work or labor or whatever to make money. So the young kid, Saroo, talks him into having him go with him. Mm-hmm. And the two fucking chuckleheads leave the daughter alone, who's younger than both of them.
Uh-huh.
It's like she's like 4 or 3. It's like, you're both terrible siblings. What's wrong with the two of you?
Now, at the very end, when he finally finds the village and he finds his mother and she asks him about his brother and she says, oh no, he is no longer with us because he died like the same night he
right, he got hit by a train.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. If you stayed awake through it. But am I remember correctly that he never asks him, what about my sister?
No, she brings it up.
She brings it up. He doesn't ask.
He doesn't ask. The first thing
he didn't give a shit about that kid.
The first thing he asks is about Gudu or Gouda.
Yeah, the brother. But then,
it doesn't
even bother him. Like, again, he's not here. What about her? No. It's like, oh, that's all I really cared about.
Right.
She's like Meg from The Family Guy in this film. It's sad. It's horrible.
It's true. It's very, very true. I mean, if they cared, they would, they would have stayed. Had they stayed, people would, still be around, and it wouldn't have been taken away for 25 years.
Stupid kids.
Yep. But when I saw that, I was angered and annoyed, and I'm just like, what the fuck are they doing? They left a 2 or 3 year old to fend for herself.
I also, and this is like, it feels like such an elitist thing to think, because we're talking about family and emotion. But all I'm thinking, it's like, yeah, you were on the streets of Calcutta and you were adopted by a wealthy Australian family, and owning your own boat equals wealthy. I don't care what
of course,
whatever. They're obviously fucking wealthy. So they're even in Australia, boats cost money, and
yeah.
And like there's all this shit. It's like, oh, I'm torn my family. Says, yeah, you didn't die on the fucking streets. Instead, you grew up where you're like going to school to be a hotel manager.
Right, yeah. I mean, and the real actor, the one that plays Saroo, Dev Patel, when he did Slumdog Millionaire, which won Best Picture, and of course, he's born in England. And there's a large Indian population, which goes all the way back to Britain, I guess, owning
raping their country. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why there's still to this day a large Indian population in England because of the whole British India thing. But anyway, he was born there, and not that he grew up wealthy, but he has an English accent, and he goes to India since making these films because he's of Indian descent, but he has really no idea what that country goes through. So he's almost kind of a parallel to the real life Saroo, because he, the real life Saroo, was born and raised for 5 years in India, very poor, and then ends up in a wealthy family. And Dev Patel was just kind of just wealthy. So it's like he gets that part of it. He gets that, and that's
really that whole hidden thing in films too. It's like, all the guys playing bums, they're millionaires. There's no actual poor people acting as poor people. They don't get that far here. And if you're in the films, you're already making money with some, low budget. Okay, not everybody starts out a millionaire, but I'm saying scale, like a film like this.
Shit.
What?
Even if it's scale.
You're working for scale.
What's scale? That's still $600 a day. That's more than I make in a month. I think scale is $600 a day.
I don't know what scale is for acting.
I think it's $600 a day.
I don't.
Now again, you might only be on the set for one day, and that's the only job you might have had for a whole month. So yes, even though scale is like $600, but if you don't
starving to death on the streets of Calcutta.
Yeah, if you don't line that shit up, you're not going to pay your bills.
And there's just always, it's like you hit that level of just realization where even if you're trying to enjoy a film like this, all you can think is like, yeah, a bunch of people with a lot of money made this film. Yeah. Well, actual kids are dying in Calcutta on these streets. And then at the end of the film, they have, we're helping these people raise, awareness and money and stuff. And this was a low budget film. It's bad for me to make fun of that. But there's this, again, that whole idea of just like people who make their living doing documentaries about like people like like kids in Calcutta. It's like, yeah, dude, you're making your living filming somebody dying. I don't. There's a disconnect there that we never really try to acknowledge fully. The amount of that the industry, this rich upper class 1% elitist industry, feeds off of films about kids from Calcutta that were flown here, and that end up getting adopted by Australians.
The only defense I can have for the filmmakers of making such documentaries is that, and I wouldn't be surprised if most of them are just trying to raise awareness. But you're right. In this instant gratification society that we're in, where people...
Well, I would say instant gratification. I'm
nearly instant, but people are very much interested...
Well, it's entertainment.
Well, they're very much interested in, okay, they're worse off than me. I'm happier because of that.
Well, yeah, but as entertainment, I mean, this is entertainment. This film is entertainment.
Well, yeah.
Even though they can show pictures of the people at the end and say, oh, these are the real people. This is based on a true thing. And they can like say, oh, we're trying to raise awareness about this and we're with this company that raises whatever it is. This film was made as entertainment. It was made to profit from people watching it to enjoy themselves. That's it. And it's a stupid side thing to get onto, but when we're talking about these best adapteds, half the time that's what you're dealing with this memoir shit. Even stuff like Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. We're watching, we're bringing awareness about the war and everything. Good. You know why? Because we're paying to be entertained by this.
Did you hear, to go off topic just a little, that...
Oh, don't, because I have one thing to say.
Oh, but it's only because you brought up Hacksaw Ridge that...
I don't know. It'll go right to that. The only thing I wanted to say in the back of my head was, it reminds me of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy at the end, where they land on the planet, and he mentions, like, the human race is going to die. You know, these guys are running around making documentaries for each other. And it's pretty much all we do. And it's like, this is just just reminds me of that. That's all I meant. Go ahead.
All right. So is there everything we need to say about Lion said? We haven't talked about it in like 10 minutes. I mean, we can talk about what it's nominated for very quickly.
Yeah. You know what? We're at a point where we've seen all the best pictures. So I think we should take a brief look at the nominations for these last two reviews. Yeah. Okay.
So it's nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
I don't feel that it's a Best Picture.
Well, let's put it this way. I agree that I don't feel that it is a Best Picture, and I don't think it will win for Best Picture.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't either. Okay, so it's not up for any Best Actor. It's not up for any Best Actress. It is up for Best Supporting Actor for Dev Patel.
Uh-huh.
He's good, but I don't think good enough to win.
I think supporting actor is like up for grabs.
I really think so too. And when we review Moonlight, I'll go into it a little bit more. But Mahershala Ali, I'm reading everywhere that he's a shoo-in, like a lock for Best Supporting, and I'm just like, no.
Well,
he's not in. First of all, he's not in Moonlight enough. I don't feel his performance is good enough to even garner a nomination. And there's so much other... There's so many other... there's 4 other people that absolutely, in my opinion, would deserve it more.
Uh-huh.
You know, I would... Personally, I think Michael Shannon in Nocturnal Animals, that would be my pick, but I know that they're not going to give it to him. Here's
what I don't understand is how come fucking Dev Patel is a supporting actor?
Because I think the first 40 minutes of the film is the little kid. There's only like an hour and 20 minutes of him.
But he's still the lead character.
He is the lead, but
he's the lead. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, and I think
I know he doesn't have that much screen time, but
I think they broke it down because Rooney Mara is in it. Not a lot, but enough to take enough dramatic screen time from him.
But
Nicole Kidman.
But like out of all the actors, who would you say is the lead actor? There's got to be one.
Well, I would pick Dev Patel, obviously.
Exactly.
But it's interesting. Sometimes it's very interesting how they pick what's an actor and what's supporting.
If by interesting you mean stupid, I agree.
Nicole Kidman.
I think supporting actor. I think whoever, no matter who wins as supporting actor, I think it's an okay pick. I mean, they're all good performances. I don't think any of them really stand out to me more than the other. That's just me.
Well, have you seen Nocturnal Animals yet?
That's the only one I haven't seen.
Okay.
So 4 out of 5, I'm talking.
Okay.
So
Nicole Kidman is up for Best Supporting Actress.
I would say Jeff Bridges is the long shot.
Oh yeah, just because he's won once already. So
the character itself is like, okay, I like the movie, but I think he's a long shot.
His character is basically a combination of Rooster.
It's a very cliche character. He plays it well, but it's a very typical cliche character. We mentioned this
when we reviewed Hell or High Water.
Yes, we did.
He's a combination of True Grit, Rooster, and he's a combination of his character in Crazy Heart and you kind of put those two together, and that's what you get in Hell or High Water.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's definitely the long shot.
It's up for Best Cinematography.
Hold on, supporting actress.
I said that, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, but she's not going to win it.
No, she's not going to win it.
She's in the film for 10 minutes.
Viola Davis.
She cries for a couple minutes.
Viola Davis is probably getting it. I would say that. And Michelle Williams is also nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and she's in the film less than everyone on this list.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I'm going Viola Davis.
Me too. I agree.
Next up, I'd go Octavia Spencer, then Naomi Harris, then Michelle Williams, and then finally Nicole Kidman. That would be the order.
Yeah, I would say that because I agree with your picks on that.
That's the order I'd go in.
Okay.
Then it's also up for Best Cinematography,
which we have 4 out of 5 now reviewed.
We have 4 out of 5. I haven't seen Silence yet.
Me neither.
But of the 4 that I've seen, I think I might go Lion for cinematography. The landscapes are, especially in the opening shot where he's surrounded by butterflies, and it's just a beautiful shot. And I think they're going to look at things like that. But from what I have seen, just a little snippets of Silence, that is a grandiose film. I think that they just go and give that to Silence because of how good the cinematography is in that.
I think Arrival.
It's a lot of it's CGI, and you know how I feel about that.
No. But we're talking about framing of shots. I went through that whole thing about just the organic versus the angular.
Yeah.
There's a cinematography. There's so much more going on than just framing the shot. I think that for that specific category, over like direction or something like that, cinematography, I think it really deserves it. And I think it would be a bad choice, but I wouldn't be surprised if La La Land got it just because it's La La Land.
Yeah. No, I get it. Moonlight, yeah. I thought that was, as far as cinematography goes, I kind of felt that was a very vanilla kind of, nothing really stood out is what I'm getting at.
No, I agree. I think Arrival stood out much more, and ignoring the science fiction, whatever, just the cinematography itself. I thought the cinematography was almost a character in the film. And the story was told partly through the cinematography. I really feel that way about that.
So then it's up for original score. And it's also up against Passengers, Moonlight, Jackie, and La La Land. We all know La La Land is winning that.
Yeah, that's the only one it should have been nominated for.
Yeah.
I think that's it. No, it's also adapted screenplay.
Oh, that's right. It's up for 6. That's the 6th one, adapted. What else is up for adapted? Let me get to that category.
Arrival.
Here we go.
Fences.
We got Fences.
Hidden Figures, and Moonlight.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it did win adapted, but I'd be more surprised if Fences didn't win.
Exactly. I agree with you there, too. Wow. I think Fences is the shoe-in.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think if it doesn't, it goes to Lion. I don't think any of the other 3 films would even be on par.
Arrival, really, a science fiction film, it's just a bias that's going to stick. Yeah. The only way The Exorcist got around that is because the religion was involved, as far as being genre, not science fiction, horror, obviously.
Right. No, I get it.
Hidden Figures, I don't think it was Oscar-worthy screenplay. It was not bad.
Subject matter might, garner a little more attention.
Pushing it a bit more, yeah, exactly. Well, again, as far as writing screenplays, I told you, if it's a historical film, 10 times more likely to sell it. It's just the fucking screenplay. Well, yeah. If you enter screenwriting contests, look at whoever wins the grand prize. It's always 98% of the time historical-based film.
People love that shit.
It's just a bias, yeah.
It's like if you're up for the best costume design, like for your film for the Oscar, if you have a period piece, you automatically are pushed to the top.
Even if it's historical fiction, it's still...
Well, here, what's up for costume design? Let me see if I can back up my claim.
Oh, it's obvious, yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. Costume design?
Let's see. Costume
design. Lost that page.
Makeup and hairstyling, foreign language... Editing, documentary, come on. Directing. Here we go. Costume design. Allied, period piece. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, period piece.
Hang on. I'm not finding this on my list.
I'll read them to you then.
Hold on, no. I'm. Oh, here it is. I got it. Right, Allied, Fantastic Beasts.
Florence Foster Jenkins, period. Actually, everything's a period piece except for La La Land, which is just an homage to a period piece.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really up for grabs. They're all period pieces. But which one has the best costumes? And I wouldn't be surprised if it's Fantastic Beasts because it's early 20th century. It's early 20th century.
But it's also fantasy.
Yeah, but the costumes are they're early 20th century. That's going to stay.
But they're
consistent.
stylized and they're fantasy. They're not made to be real. Honestly, I think authenticism is where the bias goes. I personally think it's a tie between Florence Foster Jenkins and Jackie.
I was actually going to say Fantastic Beasts or Florence Foster Jenkins.
All right, then
Jackie is technically a period piece, but it's the 60s.
But it's also
big fucking deal.
But it's Jackie.
Jackie O.
Yeah. Jackie Gold. But it's there's definitely. I mean, again, I didn't care for the film. It's because I thought it was boring and long-winded. But I'm not against it being nominated for an Oscar.
No, I'm fine with it.
I understand. Yeah. I mean, so far we're almost to the last one, and the only one I've disagreed with is La La Land.
Yeah, and we kind of knew that going in, and it's not like we went in wanting to hate it. I did want to try and like it. I want to watch all the best pictures.
After the opening on the highway, with the dancing on the highway, then I wanted to hate it. But La La Land drew first blood. That's what's important.
Yeah. I didn't draw first blood. They drew first blood.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's rated 8.0 on IMDb. I personally wouldn't give it an 8. I can recognize it's a well-made film and go 7.
I would say 7 too.
I don't think I would go lower, and I definitely wouldn't go higher.
7.
7 it is.
I'm almost not even concerned about the demographics here. Highest demographic is females under 18, which is weird. This is very male, the mother thing. And then the lowest demographic is males over 45. Because, the mother thing. And fucking IMDb staff are all whores.
Well,
7 IMDb staff, and it's got an average 8.2.
Top 1,000 voters, 6.8.
Fucking film snobs.
Did not
and white males. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Older white males, they're angry.
Yeah. Well, they're like me. They don't like India.
Is that what it is? Go back to your own country.
No, not go back to your own country. I think they should all flee here and live with wealthy Australian parents. Holy shit. Did you see those scenes in Calcutta?
Yes.
Fucking no. Don't go back there. Stay here. It's nice here. No.
Just become a citizen and pay taxes.
Yeah, what? I don't even care about that. I'm not a fucking
joking.
Trump voter. Just come on over.
I'm joking. I'm not a Trump voter either.
I know. I wasn't implying that, sir. Yeah, anyway, thank you for listening to this show where we reviewed Lion.
Yeah, I guess I should have some ending music here. My tablet is about to die, so.
The fuck's that about?
I plugged it in to charge it, and I forgot that I unplugged the power strip because it was making a buzzing noise, and I didn't want it to burn my house down. So I thought it's been charging for the last day, and it hasn't been charging at all. So I've got 3% battery life. So we're going to try and end the show with some music.
What would have made this film better?
What's that?
If he had been lost off the train, but then wandered off into the desert and was raised by a pack of lions. And so when he's adopted, he's like a lion boy.
A lion boy. Isn't that called the Jungle Book?
Yeah, something like the Jungle Book. Yeah. But in Jungle Book, he was raised by a bear with a coconut on his face.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm saying an orangutan with a coconut on his. No, he was making fun of the. All right, but they were that way.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm talking about being raised by lions because then he's lion.
Lion.
And he doesn't try to find his mother. He tries to find the original lion pack.
Ah, I see. I get it now.
Yeah. And at the end, when he reunited, they tear him apart and eat him.
Ooh, cool. Then we could do like a Life of Pi tie-in with the tiger and all that.
It'll end like Grizzly Man.
Grizzly. Anyway.
As the camera goes dark, we just hear the audio. Like, but mother!
Mum! As always, thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Moviesucktastic. Episode 236? I want to say 236.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so. We've been doing so many of these. Go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com, download the show there, listen to the show there, or tune in live every Thursday at 8 o'clock and join us in doing the show. You can go to...
Including live this Sunday.
That's right, for the Oscars.
For the live Oscar coverage.
That's right, baby. 3 hours of us. But here's the good thing. We're Skyping it, so we can go to bed as soon as we're done. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be the first time we're Skyping it.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be good. Not that I'm saying we should do it every year. I do like getting together, but
my schedule's so tight. I almost wasn't able to do it. So the fact that we're actually able to do it is a blessing in itself.
It's cool. Go to iTunes, download the show there, listen to the show there, leave a review if you go. We always appreciate it. Go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. Everything we talk about from when the show goes live, trailers, movie news, to what we're doing, it's all on the Facebook page. You can also leave us email, which I got a whole bunch of those the other day. Nothing in them, though, so I think a bot found it, which is always fun.
What does the bot want us to review? We'll do it.
Nothing. It doesn't want us to review anything. It just sent a bunch of blank ones.
We did that last month.
Yes. We do have an email to read next episode.
And also, we're going to be doing, when we come back from doing all this, we're going to be doing some listener requests, too.
Yes. We have an email.
So stay tuned for that. March is probably going to be mostly listener requests.
Yeah, I think it'll be good to ease in back into the show after this huge Oscar coverage we did. Real quick, if you can, watch Nocturnal Animals, because while we're prepping for the show, because we always go live about 15-20 minutes early, we can talk a little bit about Nocturnal Animals, kind of give that
definitely, it's one of the films I want to try to squeeze in
an informal
whenever
review.
I have the time, which might not be ever, but...
Yeah. So anyway, finally, you can leave us email at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. If you want to leave us voicemail, it's 908-514-4470. And download the free Android app for your phone or tablet or whatever you're using Android-wise. And everything I said is in that. Before the music fades out, do you have any words of wisdom?
Meow.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm lost!
Stop, you're scaring me.